A few years ago, my mom and I were contacted about a horse who was going to be sent to slaughter if he wasn't rescued within the week. That horse was a foal of one of the horses we owned, and we felt it was our job to save him. So we drove 4 hours to get him and brought him to our farm. He passed away this past year, but we felt happy knowing he got to live out the last few years of his life as intended instead of being slaughtered for dog food. Even though horse slaughter is banned in America, thousands of horses are sent from here to be slaughtered in places like Mexico and Canada, making it a prevalent issue in today's society. In May 2021, the New York Times released an expose on the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, and their Adoption Incentive Program, or AIP. The program pays adopters $1,000 made in 2 installments, one usually between 60 to 90 days of adoption and the other 60 to 90 days after the title date. The New York Times exposed how 20 of these horses ended up on an auction that is frequented by kill buyers. The issue was that there is no background checks on adopters or a validation system to ensure horses stay on property before the payments are sent. Luckily, organizations like the Equus Foundation and the American Wild Horse Campaign help to save these animals before they are bought and transported for slaughter. Today, I will be informing you on the history of horse slaughter in America and why we need to push for better legislation around this issue. According to the Times of San Diego, this debate started when California passed a bill banning the slaughter of horses, donkeys, mules for human consumption in 1998. Then in 2005, a bill was passed that prohibited the use of federal funding for the inspection of horses for meat. This resulted in the closing of all horse slaughter facilities in the U.S. Subsequently, the horses were sent to Mexico and Canada for slaughter. Then the meat is transported back to America to be used in products such as dog food. Did you know that slaughterhouses have no bearing on neglect and abuse of horses? The Humane Society states that this statistic remains the same whether we have slaughter facilities or not. More importantly, slaughter is inhumane. When a horse goes to slaughter, they are stunned with a captive bolt gun and they bleed to death. Frequently, they are not properly stunned and they are skinned and bleed to death while still conscious. There are 9 million horses in the U.S. and 1% of them annually are sent to foreign slaughter. That is a very small percentage of the whole population, but if slaughter were legal, would that number increase exponentially? Horses will continue to be slaughtered as long as there are no laws banning the transport of them to countries that allow slaughter, like Canada and Mexico. Not only is the way that horses are slaughtered inhumane, painful, slow, and just cruel, but with slaughter being banned in America, they are sent on a torturous transport to countries where it is legal. The issue has been swept under the rug, and it is our duty to help put an end to it. The Equus Foundation is dedicated to this cause, and you can help by donating or volunteering at events. They bring together many different charities across the country to help house at-risk horses and burros, create volunteer opportunities for anyone who would like to get involved, and educate people on the issue of horse slaughter in hopes of inspiring action and change. There is a whole page on their website of success stories, like their most recent rescue, Holly. Holly was a pony who was going to be euthanized until the owner contacted Equus. The next day, she was brought to the Maine State Society for the Protection of Animals and was promptly adopted by Julia and Callie Daly. You can visit their website to see opportunities to volunteer or donate as little or as much as you would like. If we were in class together, I would pass out a one-page brochure on everything we covered today. Together, we can create a more humane world for animals and humans.